So hello guys, I am Purva Kulkarni and welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a really while that I have not posted any videos or any stuff, and it's been a really inconsistent period for me, but here I am today, and today's topic is all about boundaries. Now I am sitting here with my script here, and sometime I'll look down on the script and sometime I won't. And this is my portal because hey, I'll I need water to stay hydrated. So let's get into the video. Number one thing, what is boundary? Most of the adults who I know, or every I don't know what kind of crowd is watching my video, but most of the people must be knowing what is boundary. So boundary is basically, it's an imaginary line that separates you from the other person, and it's basically a space for the things which is acceptable, for your feelings, for your thoughts, and it should it is there to avoid the conflicts, if you know what I'm saying. Now why do we need boundaries? We need boundaries because it's kind of a self-care. It's kind of a self-care because as we grow old, or as we are growing up, we know what things we like, what things annoy us, or what things are not acceptable, and we need to communicate that things to other people. I have learned this lately, that you should communicate your boundaries with the right time, because it can make or break your bonds. So yeah, boundary is important. Having boundary is important, and if you don't have boundary, friend, you might have to look into it. Another thing is boundary create emotional safety. Like I said, emotional safety is created. You can feel safe with other person if they respect your boundary, and if they accept your boundary, and they respect you can respect their boundaries too. Another thing is have realistic expectations. I was not having, or I was really having blur ideas of what I am expecting from my parents, what I am expecting from my friends, and I was an avoidant person who don't usually communicate what I need. I usually assume that people will read my mind, which is very wrong thing for Purva to do. But Purva is self-aware and she knows where she's going wrong. So let's get back on track. Like boundaries, to have a realistic expectations. Like you should have realistic expectations from your person, so that they know that what things you like, what things you don't like, what is your non-negotiable. That's the thing is important. um what prevents us from setting a boundary? Now this is the major thing, that why people get stuck in, or they fail to, I how should I say, they fail to set a boundaries. So first one is fear. Fear is like, it's scary to do something different. What are we actually afraid of? How likely is this to happen? What will happen if I set the boundary? What will happen if I don't set a boundary? By asking yourself these questions, you can give yourself a check reality check, and find out what your fears is alerting you, real danger or keeping you back. Another thing is ambivalence. Similar to fear, ambivalence represents that you aren't 100% convinced that your boundaries will solve your problem. But some ambivalence is fine. You don't need 100% sure before you act. You don't know how. If you grew up in a family without boundaries, you probably never saw anyone or have any healthy boundary, and setting boundary is a skill that can be learned. I have realized this lately, that setting boundary is a skill that you should learn and master it with time, so that people avoid assuming or taking you for granted and walk all over you as a doormat. Keep in mind, low self-worth. Some part of you feel unworthy or unlovable. Therefore, you struggle to prove your worth by putting other people's needs before your own. You're not used to being treated with respect, so you don't know what it looks like. People pleasing. People pleasing, I am unlearning this thing, but people pleasing is you don't want to ruffle the feathers, you don't want to disappoint people, you'll pretty much avoid conflicts at all cost. I do avoid conflicts at all cost, and I hate confrontations. The truth is, setting limits can disrupt relationship. You will probably get resistance. Sometimes this resistance isn't bad as you imagine. Other times there is a real danger. If you think that setting boundary will put you in serious harm. ठीक है. Another, let's get into the next thing. What are the types of boundaries we should have? Physical boundaries, space and body, and how much distance you allowed others to have, and there should be a space between you and the other person. This is specifically these boundaries for the girls out there, ladies out there, to communicate boundaries so that you are safe and you can communicate with your co-workers, your male friends, and mostly they know and they respect that. Another thing is emotional boundaries. So being an emotional person, or the person who is emotionally intelligent, they assume or they actually have a perspective. But emotional boundaries, if things are toxic, getting toxic, or if you feel drained, or you are an emotion person and you overthink a lot, think about it, say no, communicate what are you feeling, be expressive, be a better listener, and also communicate whatever you feel like, and hold the space. I have learned, not always, but I'm trying to learn that it's okay to hold space, and it will give you a clarity that who will stick around you if you hold a space and express yourself. Another thing is having spiritual and religious boundary. Now I am someone, I believe in God. I have a mentor or religious guru, and I meditate a lot, and I am a spiritual person, and I like being in spirituality. So it's like I have this thing that I'll worship whoever I want, and I want to I want to stay in touch and be religious as much as possible. So no one can convince me otherwise. I like things. I like to do these things. I like to volunteer. These are the things that you can communicate properly, and people will love that thing if you communicate. Financial and material boundaries. Learn to say no, or learn to be assertive about your materials and about your finances, because you've been working hard to earn those money, and sometimes it's happened that you don't have that much energy and that much resources to share with someone who is asking you. So it's okay to say no. It's okay. Time boundaries. This is my favorite one, because growing up I never had time boundaries. I was always present. I was always available for my friends. I was always available whenever they called me out. I was always going whenever they said, come hang out with us. But being available and being valued is something very different, and I realized this very late. So learn to say no time after time, and learn to be assertive about time boundaries, about how much energy you want to spend with a specific friend or specific peer. So that way you can save your energy, because your energy is expensive and you must protect your energy. Non-negotiable boundary. Now about this non-negotiable boundary, sorry, I wandered my eyes there. About non-negotiable boundaries, I have faced this issue because I didn't know my friend's non-negotiable or deal breaker boundary, and pure miscommunication and misunderstandings. I have lost a good friend of mine because of my miscommunication and misunderstanding, and it's been 8 months and we haven't been talking because I didn't know her deal breaker boundaries, and This has cost me a good friendship, and I don't want you guys to lose that. So know your friends non-negotiable or deal breaker boundaries before saying or abrupting them or hurting their feelings. That way you can save the relationship and strengthen your bond, and understand your friends boundaries as well and respect their boundaries as well. I feel growing up and in the adulthood phase, I failed to respect other people's boundaries, and it led to lots of misunderstanding and miscommunication, which abruptly lo- led to losing the friendship. But know your deal breakers and have it. Another thing is how to set boundary with kindness. Be polite while setting the boundary, have a neutral tone, have a right time to set a boundaries, and keep focus on your feelings and needs, and be direct. Be direct with your boundaries. That way you can at least have it. Now, how to set boundary with yourself. We grew up in a household where I feel like our parents are from the generation where they were fear driven, or fear driven generation, because it took a lot from them to come out from their parents and live their life. But we come from a generation where we have that much freedom or resources. So I feel like you should have boundaries for yourself, and trust me, it helps you to be a healthy adult. So boundaries like identify your areas where you want, like you have your values, you have your mindset, and you have thoughts. Have clarity and set boundaries accordingly. Have boundaries about time, like I will not use phone after 10 p.m. These are my boundaries, that I will not use phone after 10 p.m. I'll not scroll Instagram when I am feeling bored. This is very difficult, but I'm trying to set this boundary. I'll try to read books on time. I'll be on time. And examples I'm giving, like how much boundaries you can set. This video is all about boundaries because I felt like while growing, I was a mischievous child, and I never I never have that much in me to set the boundaries and be there for others. And I was always on the receiving end and failed to understand other people's emotion. But here I am today trying to unlearn few things, bad things about myself, and trying to inculcate good things. And I feel like sharing this video about boundaries because boundaries are important for your self-care. And yes, it works. Try setting boundaries and strengthen your relationship with yourself as well as with your other friends, family, everyone out there. So I hope you enjoy your long weekend, and bye bye. Thank you for watching the videos. Adios.